Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now August 28th of 2020, and ever since the very end of the Skywalker saga, with the Rise of Skywalker marking the very end of that, a lot of fans around the world have been very skeptical and curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, and Bob Chapek, and exactly what they have in store by working with George, John, and Dave in the mix to really make Star Wars as successful as it can be. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that yes, we do know that they are heading in a better direction now, thankfully, because George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are really working together as a team to deliver as much authentic material as possible moving forward. That's what they want to do, after all, is that they really want to bring in new Star Wars stories that are going to be modeled after Star Wars legends or original ideas that are going to carry the spirit by George Lucas. Now, Kathleen Kennedy thankfully has little to no involvement over the creative choices of these new projects, be it a movie or a TV show or a book, novel, comic, video game, whatever have you. Kathleen Kennedy, as of right now, is strictly only working on the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series, and that's it. Now, the Star Wars fandom around the world is very much, satisfied with what Jon Favreau has already put together with The Mandalorian Season 1, and are very excited to see what's about to happen with Season 2 of The Mandalorian, in which we're going to be getting footage of that very, very soon, showing us glimpses of the new season for the October release this year. Now, what's really exciting all has to do with the fact that, yes, we do have George, John, and Dave working together. However, when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy, this is where things begin to get very intriguing, is that with the Skywalker saga now over, both Disney and Lucasfilm are primarily focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe. It's explained that both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are developing multiple plans in order to reunite the Star Wars fandom around the world. Now, it's explained, however, that behind the scenes, multiple changes are being made to the Star Wars brand by Disney CEO Bob Chapek, where it's noted that recently Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy has been very angry and frustrated with the Star Wars fans and creator George Lucas, and is very angry of how the fan feedback led to her losing her creative power and even getting fired from the animated Star Wars TV series that was aimed for a 2022 release date. So in case you guys are out of the loop, Kathleen Kennedy was let go from that animated TV show that was really going to do a lot of bad things to George Lucas's vision, essentially. It's explained that, of course, Kennedy believes that the fans don't know what they want when it comes to Star Wars, and that George, John, and Dave are only giving the fans fan service. Kennedy believes that George, John, and Dave will destroy Star Wars entirely, and that there will be no turning back at all. However, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy has a grudge against George Lucas for being the one responsible for firing Kennedy from the animated series by pointing out the flaws of the TV show to Disney's CEO Bob Chapek. It even got to a point in which Kennedy tried her absolute best in talking with, of course, Bob Chapek, trying to get George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and even Dave Filoni fired from Star Wars in order for her to focus on her version of the new Star Wars universe, which is something that fans do not want to see and thankfully will not see, thanks to Lucas. So in case you guys did not know, Kathleen Kennedy was developing her own version of the Star Wars universe with writer and director Rian Johnson. You guys may or may not have heard about this, but Rian Johnson's trilogy was going to really spawn a series of spin-off films and spin-off television series that would have been attached, or within the same universe, if you will, as Rian's trilogy. That's what they were planning between himself and Kathleen Kennedy. And Bob Iger at the time was really against this idea. He really wasn't all for it, and obviously this entire plan fell apart because of the fan feedback from episodes 8 and 9, and what really did it was, of course, George, John, and Dave working together as a team, showing Chapek that amazing things can be done to Star Wars as long as you actually put your mind to it, and really do rely on some of the source material, and if you're going to come up with something completely original, off of a blank canvas, it's got to be eye-popping material, something that's going to really hit the fans emotionally. So that's exactly, what Disney and Lucasfilm have been doing. is that they have been recrafting Star Wars as we know it. They have been essentially rebranding the franchise to make it just as successful as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, the animated TV series, of course, that Kennedy was fired from was supposed to be a Brie Larson actual project, her second Star Wars project, that she was going to be involved in, and was going to further break the rules of Star Wars, and even rewriting the philosophy of Star Wars entirely, which is something that Lucas and Chapek could not allow to happen, and brought this up with all the higher-ups over at Disney, realizing that the show would be a total failure. Now, Kennedy, however, is still attached to the Leslie Show and is going to use that project as an avenue to express her own agendas within the Star Wars franchise, to do as she pleases in this new universe. So keep in mind, is that she's still working on that Leslie Headland Star Wars TV show, that's really going to push identity politics, activism, all these different agendas that are going to be a part of this over story and over the plot and over character development, which I think is going to be a disaster, to tell you guys the truth. Now, not just that, but Leslie Headland is said to already be in the writing process of the show, and Kennedy is busy writing new actors on board to act alongside actress Brie Larson in the new Star Wars TV series for Disney+. Kathleen Kennedy is still said to be very angry at the entire Star Wars fandom, specifically those who did not approve of director Rian Johnson and found it offensive that they did not like his version of Luke Skywalker, where Kennedy believes that fans actually asked for way too much when it came to Star Wars, and it was too overwhelming for Lucasfilm to accomplish. However, with Lucas, Favreau, and Filoni, it is clear as day that this is not a burden to Lucasfilm, but rather a pleasure to make such goals happen before the fans' eyes in order for them to enjoy the new Star Wars material. So once again, alright, here we have Kathleen Kennedy viewing the Star Wars fans as a burden at one point in time before she lost her creative control. We're talking about the days where she was working on The Last Jedi and Rogue One and the Rise of Skywalker, is that all of the fans' quote-unquote demands were too overwhelming. Honestly, in my point of view, we weren't asking for all that much when it came to Star Wars. I think that all that we were really asking for was a story that had common sense, a story that really was kind of steering away from unoriginal ideas, and just overall, a set of stories that would really kind of be modeled a bit more on the source material from the old Star Wars legends and even the vision by George Lucas, and to kind of just make it feel a bit more like Star Wars, right? Some of you guys out there are going to disagree with me, and that's fine, but the sequel trilogy just is not in touch with Star Wars as much as the prequels and originals are, or heck, even the Clone Wars animated TV series, such as Clone Wars Season 7 as an example. I felt that Clone Wars Season 7 was more in tune with Star Wars than The Last Jedi was. That's just how I saw things. I don't know about you out there, but that's exactly how I saw things. So, once again, Kathleen Kennedy having this major grudge against the Star Wars fans, saying that they don't know what they want, and how she believes that they were a burden, that they were too overwhelming with, constantly asking what they wanted to see in a Star Wars movie, where in reality it didn't take much, right? It really only took a couple of requests to be made, maybe more lightsaber action, a great lightsaber duel that would really be eye-popping and legendary, better dialogue perhaps, and maybe even a more original ending or more satisfactory ending for the majority of fans. I think that that's just to name a few there. Obviously, everything related to Luke in The Last Jedi was not too much to ask for, and how she was offended by the fans of not approving of Rian Johnson, it once again just shows us how naive Kathleen Kennedy really is, and how she really just is not in tune with the Star Wars franchise and doesn't know what to do with it. Now, like I've said before, I always had this gut feeling that she did a lot of this on purpose to create new fans. Essentially, these new fans are people that were never Star Wars fans that just began watching the sequel trilogy and actually only like the Disney Star Wars films and actually do not like the originals and the prequels. There are fans like that, and that's fine, but I'm just saying that's obviously one of Kathleen Kennedy's, goals there, is to create new fans that would have accepted more of her agendas in this new universe that she was originally planning. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.